This episode is supported by Battlefoam.com.
Greek mythology rages to life in mythic battles pantheon. Become a god and command heroes and monsters in a battle for Olympus at beastofwar.com. Fame and fortune awaits in Blood and Plunder. Set sail in the golden age of piracy and claim the riches of the Caribbean at beastofwar.com.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Weekender. We've got some prizes to give away.
Straight out of the gate. Yeah.
Woo! Yes, why not? Okay, so let's kick off with Wild West Exodus week.
We had a big theme week. We had tons of faction chats. We had gameplay. There's still more gameplay to come as well for those people that are interested. There's been quite a few people saying, I want to see more factions, so there is more games to come as well. And we had 10 starter sets to choose, or 10 starter sets to give away, and you can choose, if you're one of the lucky winners, between, keep myself right here, Warrior Nation, Lawmen, Enlightened, the Union, or Outlaw set. So it's completely up to yourself which one you choose if you were a lucky winner.
Warrior Nation! Warrior Nation!
Just for Ghost Wolf, if you haven't watched my Let's Play where I get to play Ghost Wolf and bound across and basically decapitate Darren's guys, you need to sort that out.
That, and I'm determined to start a petition to get a were polar bear. So I'm going to do my winterized Warrior Nation with their were polar bears.
Okay, if this happens, you're going to have to paint it though, and you're terrified of bears. So how is that actually going to happen?
White primer. White primer.
That's one colour. 2 more colours.
Dip. And red around the mouth. So big bleeding mouth. I was promising I wasn't going to deviate because I'm tired of everybody getting, Warren, stay focused. Stay focused because we don't want an hour and a half of your slabbering for 5 minutes worth of hobby.
No one's ever said that.
So I'm trying to stay on topic, but on the topic of polar bears, I did see an amazing thing this week where there was 234 polar bears all chowing down on the carcass of a whale. It was strange. It was quite funny actually because the people that discovered this initially thought it was a flock of sheep.
Ooh, that's...
I wouldn't want to be that shepherd, man. No way.
But is that normal behaviour? Like, would they normally not roam in kind of packs or solitary male bears in the room?
Polar bears, as far as I'm aware, are pretty solitary.
Yeah.
Which is great for gaming because then you only need one. And you only have to paint one. White primer, baby. But the thought of 200... So that must be something like a polar bear feeding frenzy, really.
Yeah.
So it's, Anyway, 4 winners. So we had winners on Facebook, winners on YouTube, winners on Beasts of War. Regardless of where you have won, you need to come over and click the Claim a Prize button up there. It's under the contact menu and then hit Claim a Prize. Okay. On Facebook, who are our winners?
My favourite name, actually, straight away. Paul Plunge. First winner, your starter set of your choice. Second winner from Facebook, Nora Barra. Well done. Congratulations. Awesome. And third winner from Facebook was Eric Shearer. So if you won on Facebook, if you commented over there, make sure to come on beastofwar.com, click the Claim a Prize button to get your claim.
Ben, tell us who won on YouTube, mate.
Okay, so the winners on YouTube, we've got JTMC93. So that's one of the winners. There you go. We've also got Abraxas04. And finally, Son of Aggression. So if those names ring a bell, obviously go over to the claim form and get your goodies.
Congratulations. Congratulations, guys. And then finally on Beasts of War, we have Steviant, Hazy Boy 75, Time Traveler, and Engine Seer. So well done to all of our prize winners. And just as a recap, you can choose between Warrior Nation, Lawmen, Enlightened, Union, or Outlaw.
Absolutely jealous. It's like the only way to sum that up, but well done.
We have a competition still running. Remember, we are giving away a Joan of Arc Dragon. You can still be in with a chance of winning that by commenting on last week's episode of The Weekender.
Yeah, so there'll be a link down below if you're watching this on beastofwar.com. Have a wee chat. Just unbelievable. Watch the interview with Leo and just get yourself psyched up for Joan of Arc. It's not hard to do. Pretty exciting game.
It's doing really well. Yeah. Okay, right. And then finally, the big news is that the voting has now opened for the winner of the Beasts of War 3rd Annual Awards. Woo! So all over Beast of War and up at the top, you will see banners to click through to that. There are 13 categories. I think you have it here. We can
do
actually
indeed,
have a quick look through it, so you can see what it is that you have to do. So you go into the third annual awards.
This is it.
Oh.
Bring it up over here.
And I'll just bring it up with Ben over it.
Yeah,
we love looking at Ben. There we go. So you'll come up to a welcome page. It tells you a little bit about it, and then you just click next. So the first category
Here we go.
will be the winner of best terrain. So I don't want to talk too much about the individual.
We don't want to sway anyone too much about really what we don't. Yeah, we want you to decide, because remember, all the nominations. There's 5 nominees to choose from in each one of these 13 categories, but all of those nominees came from all the suggestions the community put in, and there were thousands, like literally, and some ones we've spoken about in a previous weekender that I never would have expected to get included.
B&Q tape measure.
B&Q tape measure, again, like, just warms my heart. So we've essentially picked the top 5 from all of those entries that everyone brought in. So we don't want to sway you. We'll run through them quickly, but
we've got to be very careful about the annual awards, because it truly is a reflection of the wider gaming public. Because remember, the annual awards kind of condenses the creme de la creme of all of other awards and things like that have happened. So we just are very careful. We will talk about it at length during the awards show. But for the moment, I just want to take you briefly through so as you can see each of the categories. Okay. So the first one then is terrain.
Yep.
If you scroll down rapidly, then and then we can take them through. Just to give you a kind of an insight into what's in it. Yeah.
Okay. So next up.
Next up, we have the winner of best board game.
Okay.
So these are your entries. Now we have been reaching out to everybody who's been made it into as a finalist into the awards, just to let them know. But congratulations to all of you.
Best board game expansion.
So this is the expansion. Okay. And after you vote on expansion, we're then asking you to vote for the best hobby or gaming accessory.
Yeah, this one offers a lot of variety. So there's very different choices here, and I'd be really curious to see if anyone's had a fantastic hobby year using any of these things.
Yeah. Then on to the best card game of 2016.
Yeah, this is where we can't be biased at all.
No, got to be very careful about what we say. Okay. Best card game expansion of 2016.
And again, we've kept these very specific. So basically anything that essentially expanded on the core game, but you couldn't play it on its own.
Best gaming artwork. Now, some of these are really great, because some of them, like best card games and stuff like that, there you maybe need to know a little bit about it to confidently place a vote. But something like best gaming artwork, you can just look at it and place a vote.
Yeah.
We then have the best role-playing game.
I think, Ben, you'll have a lot to say about this when it comes to...
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a conversation about this one when it comes down to the award night, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Best role-playing game expansion follows that then.
A lot of D&D in this category, I've got to say.
It's hard. It is hard to avoid it. D&D is the monster in the role-playing world, isn't it, really? Best sculpt.
Best sculpt, one of my favorite categories.
Huge amount of variety in what people submitted, and then even trying to distill that down to the top 5 was tough. There was a lot of very tight sort of numbers when we looked at the votes for this. It's the big one.
The best miniatures game of 2016.
This is the big one.
Again, a nice variety within this. So it'll be very interesting to see just what comes out top. This is the best miniatures expansion. And then I think we're through to our final, which is the best paint job. This is the category that will make you weep. So it's just some incredible items in there.
Oh God, banner. The banner just breaks me so much. And that's it. Then you hit submit and you are good to go.
There's one final screen after that where you can drop your email address to be in with a chance of winning the mystery bundle. It's a big, massive bundle, either of stuff or voucher, that is given to you guys for taking the time to go through and do your votes. You can answer no answer to any ones that you're not sure about, so you're not required to necessarily make a vote on anything that you're just going, I don't know which one it is. But do your best. You can look at the pretty pictures.
I must admit, I'm struggling. The sculpts, the art in particular, some of the expansions ones as well, I am really... There's a couple of it for me, my heart leans towards one or another, but there's other ones where I sit like this, looking at the screen.
Voting is now open. Voting will go on for the next time. We will. I think it's about 2 weeks. 2 weeks we're going to be running the voting. Then everything will be gathered up. Everything will be put together, and then the award show will be announced. And we're going to try and do it live.
Yeah, didn't want him to say it out loud.
We're going to try and do it live. We're going to try and do a full-on, fully live award show.
Kind of like the Tony show, we'll do a big grand song at the start. We'll get the acrobats in. We'll get all the singing children. We'll get the
absolutely. We'll be all dicky bowed up, so and ready for it. Right. So that is the big news. That's the big news everywhere. Please help us spread the word. Obviously, with permission, into your Facebook groups, into your social networks, and into your forums and things. Again, please, with permission, because we don't want to annoy anybody. It's we have great relationships with all the other websites and stuff out there. So let's spread the word, but let's make sure we don't piss anybody off in the process. All right. Okay. What's going on?
There's been some other news that really pales in comparison to the Beast of War Awards.
Of course.
The Star Wars trailer came out.
Oh yes.
For the Last
Jedi.
Oh yes. Shall we show anyone that hasn't seen it?
Yeah. Well, let's play.
If you have eyes not to see it.
And I need help.
I don't know what it is about Star Wars trailers, but every time a new one comes out, I feel like I'm 6 years old again. And I see it even in our community. I see big, heavy debates, looking at it and comments like, this left me cold. And I'm sitting thinking, this left me like a tiny little warren again. And I'm just looking at it going, oh my God. Oh no. AT-ATs walking like this, man. It was just like big guns coming out the back. And it was mad. I went home.
Oh, I feel bad.
I put it on for my little girl because Savannah's birthday takes place on the 18th. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go and see it for her birthday.
Oh wow,
cool.
That's awesome.
So it's kind of like birthday for her, birthday for me, man. And so because she loves Rey, and my middle one, he's a massive fan of Finn.
Yeah.
So yeah, just each of them, they just have their character.
No BB-8 fan.
No, fan of Rey, fan of Finn.
Oh.
So it's there's no BB-8 fans.
See,
I love it.
I dissected the trailer. I couldn't help it. I felt like they were at points. I thought they're editing this to make it look like there's a point at the end where Kylo and Rey are edited to look like they're standing right opposite each other, and I'm sitting going, is that the same light? Is that the same scene? Are they just doing that to trick us to think there's a story there but there's not? And then you've got the Kylo coming down, obviously going towards Leia's ship, and you're like, he's hovering over the button, and it's like, is he? Isn't he? Probably is going to press the button.
Well, he's going to have to now.
For
obvious reasons. If he wasn't going to before,
the CG guys are going to have to really get to work.
So
so I got the excitement, but I'm nervous. I'm about the storyline and the plot, and I know there's people saying, "Oh, it's thin, but it's still enjoyable." Rogue One didn't really grab me. Rogue One left me feeling a bit.
I loved Rogue One as well.
Oh, I'm nervous.
I loved Rogue One, and this. I think for me, it's come down to George Lucas stole my heart when I was a little boy. Okay,
didn't give it back,
and he's never give it back because George Lucas utterly set the direction for the rest of my life by getting me addicted to merchandise, man. So remember back then, okay, as a 5-6-year-old boy, you're watching Star Wars, and you're going into toy shops, and in those days, toy shops were floor to ceiling of Star Wars. In fact, I remember I have these vague memories of my dad taking me into a toy shop where all of the lights had been changed to blue lights. You know, you're walking into almost like a Star Wars room, which was almost like a floor of Star Wars, and it's all blue lights and all Star Wars stuff, floor to ceiling of Star Wars characters in their blisters, AT-ATs, X-wings, Millennium Falcons, it just like boom.
And now you don't even get that in the Disney store today. They wouldn't even allocate that much space to it. I mean, on key stores in big cities sometimes, but now there's
nowhere near the same dedication to it as a range. Like you'll get an aisle. I take the kids to Toys R Us and stuff. I drag the kids. They don't want to go in. It's me that wants to go in. And we go in, and we're looking at but it's just like any other aisle. You know, it doesn't have the same.
They all look the same in Toys R Us. They're all yellow and orange and green. You just look down and go, is this what I want? None of them has that feeling.
But what it means is that with any Star Wars movie, and I've got to say with a lot of other movies as well, because the bug just grabbed me so much, I'm looking at it going, I want to play with that. So while there's all of the plot points are there, and there's plenty of people analysing, is Rey going to flip from the light side to the dark side? Not me, man. I'm looking at AT-ATs walking like this, man, going, I want those. Look at the size of that gun, man. And it's like I'm looking at the space battles once again. You know, lots of X-wings and stuff like coming down into the atmosphere, and I'm just going, I want all of that.
What a wee hand puppet of the wee thing in front of Chewie that was screaming.
Well, that I could do without.
I was wondering how you'd feel about it.
That I could do without. Do you know what? I can accept that.
Yeah.
I can accept that. I was led into this theory recently, okay, that if fans hadn't of pushed back so hard on Jar Jar Binks,
here it comes. Yeah.
apparently Jar Jar was destined for the dark side.
I believe so too. There's been a lot of chat about this actually. Ben?
Well, a lot of people have considered that, well, this was more of a joke, I suppose it would be, that he was going to be who Snoke was, is that actually Snoke was a weird, burnt and charred version of Jar Jar Binks, which he clearly isn't.
No.
But yeah, there's a lot of people saying that because of all the sort of fingers that he had in the Senate and all that kind of thing, maybe he sort of did some political dealings on the dark side and sort of changed,
But Jar Jar is like the Star Wars equivalent of the drunken master.
Yeah.
You think he's got no poise, you think he's got no... But actually, when you see him fighting, he's dodging all those lasers, he's dodging all the robots, the droids' attacks, he's got no issue because he's actually all here.
For me, the point was less about Jar Jar himself, but it was more about, I wonder as fans if we didn't push back so hard, if we didn't complain before we knew the full story, if we allowed the storytellers complete freedom to tell their story, and then we jumped in. But whereas we don't. As fans, we like to jump in. We like to jump in with our tuppence because our opinions are all so important. Really, an opinion reserved is an opinion wasted, and we will not have that. So it's. But I just wonder how different the stories might be. If we didn't just pile in.
Because I think everyone loves BB-8, right? But I feel like, are they, as a wee character, but are they trying to replace him? He was hardly in that trailer at all. And me and Lance were actually talking about the fact that little animal, what was the animal called, Ben?
I think it's Poco, I think.
That he might be the new replacement for BB-8 in this movie, which I'd be really sad about. Because
BB-8 is Poe Dameron's droid, isn't he?
Yeah.
So maybe he'll go and he'll spending more time with Poe Dameron, so he'll take more of a backseat role potentially. So
see, because I was saying to Lance said, well, BB-8's had his time. He's done a thumbs up. What else can BB-8 do? But I said, well, R2-D2 learned to fly. What happens if BB-8 learned to become like the Caesar for Rome, and he put his little thumb out and he was like. And then he was like, no. Like, how good would it be if BB-8 put his thumb down? I don't know. Does gas flame travel down? It's space. It'll be fine.
Well, post your comments below. Star Wars, the new trailer is out. Sooner or later, we're going to end up with it on the tabletop.
Well, Rey at the end of the trailer says, I need someone to show you my death. Oh, no, Snoke says to it, we think, fulfill your destiny.
Yes.
I believe it is. And speaking of destiny...
Yep. We have a Destiny tournament on the way.
Oh.
So it's
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We do. The Destiny tournament is still coming. It is definitely happening.
But there's new releases as well.
There's more news about Destiny. Yeah, let's have it.
So yeah, the new news came out of Fantasy Flight Games over the weekend last week, and this is that they're going to be moving on to a new booster set and also some new starter packs for Star Wars Destiny. The theme around them is the idea of legacies, so they're going to be seeing a lot more of the sort of old characters from the original trilogy and some of the ones from the prequels as well.
You'll
So
like this, Warren.
yeah, it focuses in on 2 specific starter packs that will feature both Boba Fett and a veteran stormtrooper, facing off against Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. So there's new versions of those characters, which is always good to see.
Yeah.
And then there's also going to be some fan favorites thrown in there as well. So you'll be able to pick up the likes of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Dr. Aphra, who people don't know is the personal doctor of Darth Vader himself, and designed the droids, the evil version of C-3PO and R2-D2 that he has in the comic books and the extended universe as well.
I did not know there was an evil version of C-3PO.
Yeah. There's an evil diplomat version, and there's an evil R2-D2 that has lots of rockets attached to it, and that's how crazy he is. So yeah.
I don't get that. Where's that come from though?
The comics?
That was from the comics and from the extended universe and all the books and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's also been publicized in the likes of Clone Wars and stuff. So if you're a big fan of the Disney animated show that they did, that has sort of been ingratiated into the canon more specifically than the books themselves, then that's where that sort of came
Because
from as
C-3PO's red arm in the first in the Force Awakens was from the comics. Is that right, Ben? It came from.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it came from that. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember exactly what why he has the red arm. But yeah, it came from the comics. Yeah.
I like that. I like that they're overlapping canon from lots of different things and bringing it together. So it's not because things like the Marvel Cinematic Universe can be a bit wonky at times whenever you start watching Iron Fist or you start watching Jessica Jones and things, and it's kind of like, are they the same? Are they separate? No, not really. And with Guardians of the Galaxy coming into that, it kind of starts synergizing, and I'm more okay with it when you kind of have everything come together. So I'm a big fan of them doing that with this.
I've got to say, Destiny itself is such a slick product. You know, it is very, very collectible, I've got to say. You know, it's we've started our initial journey towards our Beast of War
lunch times have gotten violent.
And it's I've got to say, you know, it's you can feel the addiction growing very, very quickly. Like even after your first game, I've got to say, your first game is interesting because you learn about it. You learn that it's fun. But see, by the end of your second game, you're starting to meta, and you can feel that potential for addiction to the whole thing. On the I'm thinking,
but it's simple stuff. Yeah. If I attach Rey's staff to Rey, she's going to get to go again, and then I'll attack with her and I'll get some stuff going.
Yeah.
It flows in a way very quickly from picking it up that hooks you.
What makes it for me? Sorry, Ben, I'm talking over you again. What makes it for me particularly addictive? Because let's put this into perspective, okay? The most addictive card game in the world, Magic the Gathering, gotta be. You know, it's like I got stuck into it for a while, and I really did start to think, oh yeah, I'm really enjoying this. So if Destiny had come out and didn't have the dice, I don't think I would be so drawn to it. But those dice are so lovely. You know, they are a well-produced product. And they're so tactile, and they've got the weight of them just right. And I'm looking at it and going, oh, I want more of these, man. Oh.
If you haven't and you haven't bought any of these, just go to your friendly local game store and just ask. Have you got a Destiny set that's available for demo, or ask someone that's playing, just feel their dice. It'll change your life.
As a pro, I know it is. I know, this is so weird. But who would have thought that collecting cards would have been so addictive? But the cards with the dice, the mechanics of the game are wonderful. But I don't think that alone is enough to make it that collectible. The product quality is.
Go on, Ben. Wait.
Well, I was going to say, talking of mechanics, so they're actually going to be introducing 2 new mechanics into the new set with Legacies. The first one of these is the concept of indirect damage.
Yeah.
Now, this has existed in Star Wars Destiny anyway, but this will allow you to spread the damage out among the characters as you see fit.
And that's the little grenade symbol that's being added in now. The second one there in Dr. Aphra. So it's going to allow you to basically essentially throw damage out on top of people.
Right.
And then matched against that, there's also the inclusion of what are called plot cards. Now, a lot of people, when they create their Star Wars Destiny decks, the limit is 30 for the points of characters. But very often, you'll find that you'll have a couple of points left over at the end. Maybe you'll get to 27, 28. plot cards are then included as part of your sort of constructed deck as a whole, and they'll give you a benefit at the beginning of the game or at some point during the game. So, for example, one of them comes from Lando Calrissian, and it allows you to give you an additional resource at the beginning. The other one features Princess Leia in the news piece, and that allows you to sort of discard the top card of the deck, I think it is, during your first turn, the first sort of turn of the game, which is pretty cool. But it just means that when you're playing some of these bigger characters, or maybe you're playing, a larger spread of non-unique characters, you'll be able to put these plot cards in and get some additional benefits out of it. What it'll do to the game as a whole, we'll have to wait and see. But there's already a lot of people talking about the possibilities of using the actual Lando Calrissian character from Empire of War, who already gives you an additional resource at the beginning of the game, and using the plot card, which will then mean that you start the game with 4 resources in your possession, which is great for bringing some vehicles into play.
From your perspective, the plots are really cool because they're going to add a bit more narrative. They're also going to mean that even if you're not meta playing, you're not trying to make the best deck possible, you're still not wasting points. I've got a couple of spare points. I'll stick a card in that's going to theme to the way I want to play. So just one simple addition is going to round your deck out a little bit more. This is actually a nice addition that I think maybe even should have been at the start. So a year into the game, I'm glad to see it coming out. I want to talk a little bit more about Fantasy Flight Games, though. We've got another piece of news, and then I'm going to pick your brain a little bit, because a year in with Star Wars Destiny, we've seen the starter sets, we've seen a 2-player box set, we've now had 2 new starter sets announced, and I believe we've had 3 waves of cards so far, Ben, is that right?
Yeah, so there was Awakening, Spirit of Rebellion, and then Empire of War.
So in a year, that's a lot of stuff. Each card set has around sort of 280 sort of cards, Ben, something like that, or 180?
Something like that. I've got a folder full of them under my desk right here, but yeah.
And you need 2 of each card to essentially have the full repertoire available to you.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff they brought out in a year.
It's quite aggressive, isn't it?
Well, you'd think that.
Yeah.
However, they can get more aggressive. Do you remember when we talked about Star Wars Legion?
Yes.
FFG, we had a big discussion about how successful it was going to be. Could it take down 40k?
Yeah.
A big chat about it. So the previous weekend, you guys can go watch it back if you like. One of the things you focused on and we agreed on was that FFG, the way they bring their stuff across from Asia in terms of packaging and shipping and getting it produced over there, we were worried if they could keep up with the development cycles.
Yes.
Well, they've just launched Legend of the Five Rings last Thursday, I believe.
Yeah.
Thursday before last. And they've come out with a huge announcement. And in fact, I don't even know if it has actually been officially announced at this point. It's just been leaked that they're going to come out with an even more aggressive distribution. So get this. So Ben, have you got the details there?
Yeah. So as I was saying, this was announced a couple of days ago actually now, and it is actually properly official on the Fantasy Flight website as well at this point. But yes, instead of the cycle being released over a period of 6 months, so with 1 pack a month, the cycle of 6 packs is actually going to be released every week for 6 weeks.
Ooh.
So starting after or just before the World Championships, which come in November, there'll be a 6-week period where you'll be able to get your hands on all of the cycle packs for the Imperial cycle in one big lump. Now, their sort of reasoning behind this is that it means that the meta is immediately defined within a very clear and sort of concise period, and then hopefully that means that this will continue for quite a while afterwards.
Yeah.
It also potentially has a lot of ramifications for the core set itself, because obviously a lot of the cards that came in the core set, some factions are clearly better than others, but this may be their remedy for that kind of problem, because you'll always have that kind of thing with core sets for any kind of card game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see if this is taken on board as something that people enjoy. A lot of people already have been saying that this is going to be very, very expensive for them in the run up to Christmas. But yes, it'll be very interesting. Yeah.
I have 2 quick points on this, and I love, if anyone who knows me on the show, I love FFG. Like there's hardly any of their games I don't gel with. I love a lot of things they do, but to me, this screams the core set is not a full game. This screams that you need the first full cycle of 6 packs to actually have a full game experience.
Yeah.
And the core set, the problem with the core set, Ben, you can keep me right here. I think you need 2 or 3 copies to have essentially fully fledged decks.
You need to have 3 copies of the core set, so that's going to put you in around sort of £90 to have a copy of everything you need to play and build up your factions. And things.
Need is a strong word, because you can play the core set absolutely fine.
Oh yeah.
Or you wait.
You can.
And pick up these other expansions.
No, not an or. The expansions will be completely new cards, completely new updates separate from the core set. So if you want to play the core set, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
But if you want to have enough cards to essentially make a full, because this is the issue we're running with Star Wars Destiny, you need 2 of every card if you want to have the potential for full flexibility. Because if you run 1, that's fine, but you can run up to 2. Whereas if you want to run full flexible, you need
Let's
3.
scale it back a little bit, okay? Because full flexibility
Yeah.
strikes as somebody full on in the tournament scene, okay? That
Yeah,
wants full flexibility.
absolutely.
I'm a casual tournament player,
Then
so in other
one
words,
core set.
so in other words, I want
Yeah,
to be able
one.
to play in tournaments, but I'm not going to meta to the balls on this, okay? So it's
If you are okay with not winning, one core set will be fine. If you
one
want a chance,
one core set of Destiny or one core set of Legend of the Five Rings.
Well, so Legend of the Five Rings, one core set would be fine if you're fine not winning, not
Okay.
being truly competitive.
If I want to have a chance,
you'd need at least 2, I think, at least, if not 3.
It's mainly so that you can flesh out the core cards for each of the different clans, because
Yeah.
otherwise you're only going to be left with a certain amount of copies of it. The more copies you get, the more frequency of the card coming up, which means you'll be able to properly tactically put together a deck. There is no reason you couldn't do okay with one.
Yeah.
You just have to rely very much on your neutral cards.
be a
that are
harder
sort of
time.
there to, yeah.
Okay, so let me ask this question then, okay?
Yeah.
So those core sets are being released,
Mhm.
but there's then 6 packs.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
not just buy a core set, learn to play,
Mhm.
and then buy from the other 6 packs
Absolutely.
to build it up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you'll,
So
you'll still be at a disadvantage against someone who has 3 core sets, potentially. I don't know the cards well enough in the core set to say for sure, but
Mhm.
potentially they will
But
have.
again, I accept that I'm going to be
Yeah.
at a disadvantage
then
against somebody who
absolutely.
can buy everything.
Then absolutely.
If I'm just trying to buy enough to be
Get
in
by,
with a
yeah.
chance,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, because is buying multiple core sets not going to be very repetitive
Yeah, well-
compared to buying a single core set and some of the other 6
And
packs that are
yeah,
being released?
this is a thing that FFG have fought with for a while, and the response to this, at least Ben, again, you might know a little bit better, but there's been a couple of sides to it, and one of them is, oh well, this is great, I'm looking forward to get into Legend of Five Rings, this is a way for me to get into it more, because they're resurrecting an old game that a lot of people have love for.
Yeah.
And the other side is, oh well, I want to be competitive, which means I need 3 cores and 6 packs, which is going to run me 150, 200 pounds. I don't want to have to pay that. So there's 2 sides to
I
it.
don't understand. So 3 cores
Mhm.
and 6 packs.
Yeah.
Why
3
not?
core- yeah.
Why not 3 cores and 3 of each of the 6 packs?
Ah.
I don't understand
no, it's
the
cool.
difference there.
So basically, whenever FFG do core sets traditionally,
yeah.
you'll find, say the limit is 3, say you can only have 3 of a certain type of card in your deck.
Yeah.
So you can never have more than 3 of one type. In the core set, you'll find that sometimes you only get 1 of that type of card.
Mhm.
So if you want to run 3 of a certain type, you'd need to buy 3 core sets to get it.
Okay.
Because the other packs that come later are kind of standalone. They're kind of all the cards you need. You don't need to buy more than 1. You just buy 1 and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So they've done that with all their LCGs. So they did that with Netrunner. They do it with Game of Thrones, and it's not a bad thing.
Do you know what? It's not that bad actually. Say if 3 core sets set you back 90 quid,
Mhm.
right? And what do each of the other 6 packs roughly cost?
15, maybe a little bit less
right.
if you can get it.
So you're looking at about 200 quid or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, about 150, I think. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
150 to 200 quid, and I have complete meta control
of everything.
over what I want to do at a tournament. I don't think that's too bad. If I'm
Yeah.
someone that enjoys playing in tournaments and wants to get in and
Yeah.
have complete control over my deck building,
Mhm.
look, put it like this: if I spent 200 quid on a miniatures game,
Mhm.
okay, for the largest amount of tournaments, I would have to use 40k as an example.
Sure.
Okay, 200 quid might get you a bit of an army.
If
It
you're
will
careful.
certainly not get you something that gives you complete meta
No,
access.
No.
There's an interesting switch in terms of tone when it comes to L5R as well, though, in that with a lot of the other games that have come out LCG-wise from FFG, there's very much a sense of, well, I'll just play whatever the hell I want. I'll go for different houses or runners or corps or whatever. In L5R, there seems to be very much a focus on this is the clan I play. So we're seeing a lot of people picking up copies of the core boxes and splitting them among 3 friends or 2 friends, which means that effectively the cost of everything is taken down and you only ever have to worry about the cards that you want, for example, for the Lion Clan. So when it comes to those packs, everybody chips in and buys one for a couple of quid each, and then you split the cards amongst yourselves. The only problem then is the neutral cards, but there's usually enough for you to deal with that kind of thing. But yeah, that's one of the things that I think is very much a shift for this, because it's very different for FFG to be dealing with a game where everyone is very, very fiercely loyal to certain clans. And it's also built into the narrative and the tournament structure as well. So I could see that being one of the sort of motivations sort of behind why they're doing what they're doing now as well.
I must admit, they've very much embraced it, especially for their organised play, because they recognise the winning clan hugely, and there's prize specific stuff. I believe they're even talking about kind of bringing cards out and stuff for the winning clans of big tournaments. However, I can't imagine FFG have made a decision to sell a product that they think is designed to be split between friends purposefully. I can't believe that was the design intent, but I think that's kind of the community reacting and deciding this is the best way we can deal with this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a great thing.
No, it's also
it's
worth...
certainly in keeping with the theme of the game.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
So.
It's also worth pointing out now because, you know, I don't want anybody getting mixed up here. That Legend of the Five Rings is a living card game.
Yes, not
so there's
collectible.
no blind buys.
Exactly.
In that.
Yeah.
So if we say it's going to cost around 200 quid to buy all of that release, it's going to cost 200 quid to buy all of that release, and you're guaranteed to get everything.
Yeah, which is completely different from Destiny.
Star Wars Destiny, however, is a collectible card game. So you pay your money, you take your chance, really. You know, so you would buy your starter set.
Yeah, so you know what you're getting in your starters.
But to try and get everything that's in the catalog, you have to basically just buy a bunch of stuff and then trade.
Trading is an amazing way to deal. If you have a local community, it's quite literally the best way to do it. Or you can also buy cards online from dealers and stores, but that's one of the best approaches if you have a specific kind of deck you want to buy and you don't want to take the chance of randomly opening.
Now, where this fits in with Star Wars Legion, now Star Wars Legion is a miniatures game, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what you guys, the impression I'm getting from you is you're saying, well, actually, Fantasy Flight, when they choose to turn the power on, they can be very aggressive with the release schedule. However, there's a difference between the production of a card game and the production of a miniatures game. Okay.
So
because for a lot of card games, for example, like Magic the Gathering and stuff, a lot of that is produced in localized territories. So, for example, I know that there's factories in the UK spitting out Magic the Gathering cards. They're not all coming in from China and then being divvied out. Okay, there are printing processes. Printing is cheap everywhere. Yeah, pretty much. If you're buying in scale, printing is cheap everywhere. Okay. However, plastic manufacture is not cheap everywhere, and not everybody knows how to do it. And that's why you have this what I call it, an over-reliance. Depends on how world politics is going to go over the next while. But
whenever you're watching this
there
video,
may be an over-reliance on the China factories. Okay, certainly all the relationships and whatnot would be with Chinese factories. There is a difference.
Yeah. So with Destiny, we actually saw that the launch of Destiny was potentially, I mean, I don't know for sure, but way more successful than what FFG predicted it was going to be. Because they had a huge shortage of the Awakenings core set that they launched. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months there was a period where you just couldn't get your hands on it.
For love
and that was because of the dice, not the cards.
The dice is a hard component to make.
So with Legion, if they ever already come out and said, we're going to be aggressive with the release structure, do you think...
Have they come out and said that?
I believe so, yeah. Whenever at Gen Con, whenever they were saying they were going to be quick with it, which means they must have to be over gauging the interest this time.
You see, because I'm coming from the point of view of that when the Star Wars Legion box comes out, they're going to immediately be hit by that thing of, well, for this to become a miniatures game that we want people to be playing competitively as well as just having fun with it narratively at the same time, we're going to need more stuff for you to buy. So surely there's going to have to be a lot more vehicles, a lot more units, a lot more characters coming out very, very quickly in order to make these into fully fledged armies. Now, obviously, you can, bash together two of the starter sets which come with the Stormtroopers and the Rebels or whatever, but still limiting your pool of options a lot. So it's going to be very interesting to see like how quickly they add on a whole bunch more to sort of make the pool deeper for tactical options and stuff as well. So
I think you're going to get your big AT walkers. I think you're going to get them.
The thing about it is, though, right? I can understand why Destiny struggled. I can understand both why it sold out, because it's a very addictive game, and you want a lot of it. And I can also understand why, from a manufacturing perspective, it struggled because yes, it's a dice, but it's a unique manufacturing process to do at scale. You have, I'm going to guess here, but you have these beautiful dice. Okay, they're custom manufactured first. And then each of them digitally litho printed. Okay, with so this is
researched
not,
that technique,
these are
have you?
not
Yeah.
stickers
No.
on these things. These are beautiful on dice prints that I obsess about these
Have you
things.
got an email
now.
from FFG I don't know about where you're endorsing?
I obsess about these dice in Star Wars Destiny. So I can understand why that would have happened. I can also understand why that is now no longer happening. Okay, because once they've got the hang of that, they've ramped that up.
Yeah.
However, for Legion, okay, it's going to be a bit like that for every product you do. So for every vehicle, for every sprue, you have the design, you have the tooling.
Yeah.
The only thing about it is that it's there's nothing. I want to be careful here when I say there's nothing innovative about it. Okay, with the dice, there were certain innovations that they probably needed to get right.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't seen a lot of that elsewhere, and certainly not at the scale at which they need to produce it for Destiny. Producing miniatures at scale is not an innovative thing right now. The Chinese are very, very good at it. Okay, they've got it down pat.
Additionally, though, when it comes to this, I mean, they've had experience creating at least miniatures on a smaller scale when it comes to Star Wars Imperial Assault.
Yeah.
So they will have learned a lot from that process going forward. I know they've obviously learned a lot when it came to X-Wing. They've sorted out a lot of their supply problems on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's going to stand them in good stead to actually have this ramped up process coming out next year. So.
I think they can do it. I think they can do it. But
Rune Wars, I think, is the thing that made it all shaky for me. Because X-Wing was fine. Waves and waves of X-Wing. I think
not
the regularity
initially,
was fine.
Not initially.
Well, once they got to the 8th, 9th, 10th.
Yeah, it took a long time for
yeah.
X-Wing to shake out its production problems. So it's
I don't feel like they can afford to have big delays.
I don't think that they can. I don't think they can have big delays on this.
No.
Okay.
Well, this has been your FFG chat.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry about that. It was just interesting.
We have some Hordes news.
We do indeed, yeah.
Yeah, so this was a little bit of a sneak peek that came up on social media. Looking forward to January next year and some of the releases for Hordes. So we've got some really cool looks at some additional Northkin for the Trollbloods. Yeah. So these are some themed ice trolls that you can pick up. So there's
Look at the toenails in that
which
bad
is amazing. Yeah. And there's also the Troll Basher as well. So it's really nice to see them not only looking at the typical troll troops that you would get, but then theming them around the idea of the Northkins. So you've got these bashers that you'd normally see with their big metal armor and their flails and shields, but then we've got a Northkin version of them, which looks really cool and really nicely themed. And then following on from that as well, we've also got some additional Hordes looks, including a look at the epic version of Barnabas, who's there for the minions. And also Quack Slickspine, who is possibly the coolest character with the coolest name I've ever seen, who is absolutely fantastic, and he's featured there with his little tiny friend called Gub, I think it is, that is sitting in his little pouch on his front.
We've got to get one of these in the office for Lance to paint, don't we?
Absolutely.
Like, this is to go with Lance's little froggy friend.
What a beautiful miniature.
Yeah.
On the topic of beautiful miniatures, actually, I have a beautiful miniature to show you. Check out this.
I was going to say, you're going to try and say the name first time, because I know I'll mess it up.
Where do you see this? Okay, so this is, let me try and get it under camera for you.
It's a big mini.
Look at that.
So that's Zavanna Agha, the Fate Keeper.
Fate Keeper.
Now, it's worth noting, so this can actually be used as a Grimkin.
Yeah, we do. Box here. Just 1 second there. Put the
so it can be used as a Grimkin Warlock, or it can be used as a Kador Warcaster.
Right.
So essentially, you're straddling both War Machine and Hordes nicely.
Check that out there. Ooh, there we go. Hang on, there we go.
Now you've actually got the book behind as well. If you want to show, if you want to show off some awesome art, I can tell you like this. She's creepy. All the Grimkin are pretty creepy. I'm not going to lie to you.
Wow. Look at this. Let me see if I can get the artwork under here.
Oh yeah.
So I'll give you a close-up and I'll give you something a bit further away.
So having released the godlike defiers from Urkian to suit her own ends, Zavanna Agha has many plans in motion. Only time will reveal her true goals, but for now she is content to join in the chaos the Grimkin bring. Her hope is that those fated for greatness will be strengthened by the crucible of the wicked harvest, and the defiers will aid in forestalling an otherwise imminent doom. She's like, and again, it's just compounding more of this Grimkin stuff that's really haunting it. Look at the size of it.
It's just beautiful. Let me see if I can get in a little bit closer.
Look at her
so as you
on top. Like that's her right at the front there. Oh,
it's just nuts, isn't it?
The
Look
detail,
at the detail
it is a steampunk warden's dream. It's something out of Studio Ghibli as well. Anyone who's a fan of Howl's Flying Castle, it really kind of resonates with me that way.
What a beautiful, beautiful miniature.
And sturdy. I was worried when I saw it in the box. I thought, oh goodness, this is going to be a bit of a complex build, a bit of a fiddly one, but it's not at all. The thing is rock solid.
I love this this kind of like time turner type thing at the top. It's just
you could
so
pop that out and make it fully functional and rotating, couldn't you? Your 3D printing skills this day, Warren.
I'll be giving an update on the 3D printer. I'm preparing myself. So yeah, what a beautiful. I don't know about you guys, but I think. And we have, John is doing lots of kind of projects at the moment. He's doing this amazing tank war project at the moment where he's got a German tanks and American tanks. So if you're interested, I'll come across, take a 7-day backstage trial, and you can follow along. He's putting out 1-2 updates per day.
I think part 6 it was. He set a specific challenge for everyone to try and spot his camouflage tanks in a hedgerow. It was amazing. It was eye-opening, actually.
Yeah.
I really struggled. I was very impressed at how well they hid.
He actually set up a proper tree line with all the terrain and stuff like that, then took the tanks that he had just camouflaged, put them in, and then worked out the distance to scale of 150 to 200 meters, and then showed it 150 to 200 meters, and he challenged you to try and spot where the tanks were. Then at 100 meters, then at 50 meters, any closer than that, you're dead. Yeah. And it was really, really interesting, very really cool. Enjoyable. But as I reckon, why don't we set John a challenge on the Grimkin stuff? Because I really want to see this with some color on it.
Me too, yeah.
You know that I see it, I'm like, oh. So
Grimkin army for John?
I think a Grimkin army could be a good one. Post below if you reckon that Jono's next task should be something
we should
on
make
the
them. Maybe we should make them vote, because this can be Grimkin or Khador. What style do you want to see? Grimkin or Khador?
Or Khador. Post below. Okay. Right. We have one more piece of news.
Yes, we do indeed. This is a big one, actually. So this is all about an event that Steamforge are doing at the moment, giving their players a way of accessing new minis.
Yeah.
New models. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, so this is Steamforge Game doing one of their community events. They did one last year, which was all focused around the Butcher's Guild. This one is focused on a much more grander scale, and it's called the Union in Chains, and it will allow you to decide the fate of a certain amount of different characters within the world of Guild Ball, which is really awesome. So all you got to do is play a whole bunch of games, which is really fantastic, and you could potentially change how things turn out in the narrative going forward. The actual model you see previewed in the news piece is Hemlock, who is tightly being fought over between the Mortician's Guild and the Hunter's Guild. So depending on which kind of model you like, maybe that should sway your decisions, I suppose.
So that's the Mortician Guild model there. And then the second one is the Hunter's Guild. And what's really, really interesting about this is that they've rendered both. They've made them, but only one of them is actually going to go into production. The other one is gone forever. Like, so it's not like it's not like they're saying, you have to imagine what these look like. It's you have to get on and play your games, and it's not who wins necessarily. It's just amount of games submitted to the system, I believe. So it's not, you don't necessarily have to win every single game. You just enjoy playing Guild Ball. And then one of the renders just gone, poof, out of existence. They spent all the time
heartbreaking.
They spent all the time designing it, rendering it, and getting it ready.
Yeah.
Now we have a real treat. Because these two have already been shown. If you're taking part in Guild Ball, this is probably not too new to you, because these are out this week and compete. But we actually have Sherwin and Steve in the studio to give us a preview of what's coming next week, which is before anyone else is going to get to see who you got to fight over now. Okay. So let's join Justin, Sherwin, and Steve, and they'll show you who you can play for.
A world of hideous nightmares awaits in Kingdom Death Monster. Fight to survive or fade into darkness at the Kingdom Death Hub at beastsofwar.com. Anime cyberpunk style meets skirmish combat in Infinity. Experience 8 high-tech factions and fight to control the human sphere at the Infinity Hub on beastsofwar.com.
Hello everybody, I have been joined by Sherwin and Steve from Steamforge Games, and they have a bit of an announcement for us. So, some of you may already know that there is a campaign coming for Guild Ball. But we wanted to get them sat down to actually have a chat and give you a little bit of info on what exactly is happening with this campaign. So, Sherwin, what's going on, mate?
So, it's called Union in Chains. and the event is basically it's our next community event running into SteamCon, just like we did last year with the Butcher Civil War. And this one is expanded to a much larger kind of community, as in every single team can contribute into it, same as last year, but everyone has something to play for this time around. So everyone's got something that they can try and get, and we're going to show some pictures, I think, of what they are.
Yeah, sure. Well, the first one here, this, I have to say, is absolutely gorgeous. What are we looking at here?
So this is Veteran Hemlock. So people already would have seen this one, as well as the next one I think we're going to show in a moment, but this is it, Veteran Hemlock the Hunter, and now we'll show, I think...
yes, the
Veteran
Mortician version.
Hemlock Mortician.
I love the voodoo doll. I love the little voodoo doll.
It is awesome.
There you go. So we've obviously showed these off. Now, during the campaign, there's a narrative that's going to run through, because the whole campaign is about the Union, and each of the guilds have been paired off, and they're playing for the services of one player who's going to leave the Union and become a veteran player on their side as a full-fledged member of the Union.
Of the guild.
Of the guild, I should say.
Yeah.
So, now here's the thing, though. We're showing these images to you, so people have already seen the two Hemlocks.
Yeah.
One of them won't get made. If you
Ever?
Nope. So the idea is you report your games as you played, or you get your buddies to, whichever team you support. So if you want to leverage the support of your buddies to do that, probably a good idea. And at the end of the campaign, whoever has reported the most games off the brackets of the pairing.
So it's the most, not the most wins.
Nope, it's community friendly, so it's more about reporting your games and having fun and playing. And the idea being that obviously you report your games, and if you've got the most games over your rival, then you'll win that player, and you'll get that player join your team.
Okay.
And the other guys, well, they should report more games.
Yeah. I will probably give one piece of advice then. Do not play the two paired teams against each other, because then you just keep it level and bounce it up unless your mate doesn't report it.
Exactly. That's exactly the thing that happens. So, I mean, the interesting part we've seen already is that people are already really getting to the friendly spirit of this thing. We're seeing a lot of community rivalry, but in a really positive, friendly way. Lots of light-hearted jokes and that sort of stuff, and that's been really cool to see. So we're excited. We're very excited about this one. We spent months wanting to tell everybody in the community about how great this thing's going to be, because we're obviously showing these two. There's another one we're going to show in a moment, but we already have various other ones that people haven't seen yet, and they're also great. They're all fantastic.
Now, do you want to know what amazes me more than anything? You've actually put the 3D sculpt time into these. Because I'm assuming this is ready to go to being made into a mold at this stage. I don't know which one of the Hemlocks I like more. I love the Hunter's version. It's very nice. It's very tribal. But the Mortician's one, it's got that New Orleans sort of witch doctor feel to it. Why do you make me choose? Why can't I have both? That's what everyone's going to say. Why can't I have both?
Well, this is the thing. We wanted everybody to know exactly what's at stake, what they're playing for.
Yeah.
That's what. This is a very real campaign in terms of what's happening.
This is one of the most different things I've ever seen a company do. Actually saying, right, you are fighting to make a mini.
Yeah.
You're gaming to make a mini. That is really cool.
We had to, as well, show the two models, because otherwise people would very easily just say, oh, we were always going to give you, say, Hemlock in the Morticians or Hemlock in Hunters, whatever it ends up eventually being. And people would say, oh, we were just always going to do that. By showing both models, we can say, look, they both exist, but you're only going to get one. We haven't fixed this. This is how it's just going to be.
But is that not going to break the heart of some of the team members? Because I'm sure each of you have your favourite variant.
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree. There's a lot of us. I mean, we all have our favourites that we've seen from the from what there's to come. And I'm sure
you're behind the curtain. You've seen them all. Probably.
It's really heartbreaking seeing some of these sculpts, because I'm honestly extremely hard pressed to pick any of them over the others. They're all really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you gave me one more to show off here, and this is something people haven't seen yet. So we will
be showing this next week, but you guys get a nice sneak peek.
All right, so who is this?
This is
I want it.
Veteran Mason Decimate.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And probably, as much as I've just said, we can't pick.
Yeah.
I love this model. This is possibly my favourite.
It's absolutely gorgeous. It's everything about the design is so nice. All right, I only have one image. Which of the two factions fighting for her?
The Brewers, and I'm gonna like really tease here and say I actually prefer the Brewers one. We haven't got the Brewers one, but I prefer it. But you'll see it eventually.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, if you like your Guild Ball, keep your eyes peeled on the Steamforged Facebook page. Keep an eye on Piece of War, because I will be having Ben hound these guys every week saying, can you send us the new ones? Can you send us the new ones? Because I want everybody to see what they're fighting for. So is every faction getting paired up? Every single one?
So it's the Butchers and the Fish for Gutter. It's the Brewers and the Masons for Decimates. The Hunters and the Morticians for Hemlock. And the Alchemists and the Engineers for Harry.
Right.
So the only two guilds, Union, obviously, they're involved.
Of course.
Because of this. And the Blacksmiths and the Farmers won't be involved there. I mean, purely, we didn't want to necessarily do too much with those guys because due to the release schedule of things, it's a bit unfair because the Blacksmiths aren't available at general release just yet. So it's not quite too fair.
The rules for the Blacksmiths and the Farmers are still sort of betting in.
Exactly it. So we didn't really want to kind of pit those two players against each other and create an unfair competition. So that's where we're coming from with these. Now, obviously, Farmers and Blacksmith players, if you've got the set, you can still contribute. You can still play and pick a favourite. Exactly, you can leverage your friends to see which one of them wants your support. It's the crucial thing you can do. The other thing that's happening, of course, as well, is the full narrative that's coming through, because this is part of our storyline. So we will be able to find out why these players are leaving the Union. We'll be able to talk about what's happening with the Union as we go on, and each of the releases that we'll have each week showing off these models and how the campaign is progressing. We'll also have a full narrative that's going to go through. There's probably about half of one of our season books worth of narrative in this campaign. There's an awful lot. Okay,
very important question. Just for clarity for the players out there. As you announce these players, does that mean it unlocks for people to be battling over them, or can they be battling over them from day dot?
Nope, they can still keep going.
Yep, you just won't. It'll be a case of, until you've seen your players, you won't know necessarily what sculpts you're fighting over, but you'll still be fighting over them. So you can get a bit of a head start, because, there might be one of the players that gets shown later on. Perhaps there's a huge surge because, say, the engineers go, oh, we really want that sculpt. So there's a huge surge of engineers game. So I would recommend get your games in as early as possible. Get a head start.
Yeah,
well, because it's that duality, play for your faction from the get-go and put your vote in for your faction.
Trust us, the sculpts are all worth playing for.
Yeah, definitely.
Very, very cool. Okay, do we know when the campaign is running up till?
So the campaign will run... So the campaign has obviously started this week.
Yes.
It will be playing through... It finishes for the general public the end of the week before SteamCon. We have a week to check through the results, because we're asking people to submit pictures and battle reports of their games, so that way we can kind of make sure there's no spamming going on, that sort of stuff. And then we'll open it again at the start of SteamCon, so all of the casual play arenas will be contributing towards this as well. And then we should be announcing over the course of SteamCon who's won who.
Well, you see, here's something important. If you're opening it up at SteamCon, you may want to put up a scoreboard just to see how people are doing and see how close it is in some areas. Because that way your casual arena,
absolutely,
all your players can say, right, I need to maybe drop 5 games in this weekend. If each of us do that, we will bring ourselves up and actually win to actually get the sculpt.
It's going to be great, because hopefully we'll see that real friendly rivalry kind of break out in the casual play arenas. I mean, what we've seen so far is our community's been fantastic in engaging with this, and everyone's so excited about this, and if we can bring that into SteamCon, which I'm sure we can, it's going to be great.
Yeah, well, I'm sitting here, I want to go to SteamCon now, and I want to bring my Smiths with me.
Yep.
There you go.
And you get to choose who you support, because...
Yeah, because we're out of the running for now. I say for now, because you guys seem to do this a lot. Like the last one, the Butcher Civil War, fantastic, and I loved the final result of, it was Brisket, wasn't it?
Yes.
Became a captain. Oh, the miniature looks so good.
Yeah, it is one of my favourites in our line.
Well, gents, all I can say is thank you very much. Thank you for sharing this with us and the community. Everybody, get your comments in below. Which of the factions will you be playing with during this campaign? Is this maybe tempting you to drop in and actually pick up a faction of your own? We'll move on. We'll see you later.
Hello, I'm Carlos from Corvus Belli Infinity, and you're watching The Weekender on beastofwar.com.
So that gives you a view of Decimate if the Masons do actually win.
Yes.
If the Masons don't manage to win, then Decimate's gone. And I believe, keep myself right here, it's going to go to the Brewers Guild instead. So we're still yet to see what Brewers Decimate.
I love this mechanic they've come up with. It is very exciting, isn't it?
And it's all around, focused around the Union, these characters who essentially play for anybody, but now they're going to get to play specifically as a brand new model, brand new mini, brand new stats for a faction. I think it's fantastic. We're talking a lot about this episode about community and how we can impact the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, your feedback is one way, obviously, but this is a direct
opinion.
Opinion. But this is a fantastic. I love seeing this from Steamforged.
Yeah. I think it's a really, really interesting way to encourage people to participate.
Yeah.
And I think I quite like, although it's heartbreaking, I quite like the idea of sculpts that will never see the light of day.
Like, what do you do with them? Like, they just... You just...
Delete. I would even put a video up of delete.
Oh, man.
Bang.
The artist
gone.
would just be so sad. That's too mean.
Right. Let's close out the show. We've got a couple of Kickstarters to tell you about. Ben, who's first?
Yeah, we're going to kick things off with Detective City of Angels, which is by Van Ryder Games. Now, this is a game inspired by sort of the likes of LA Confidential, LA Noire, if everybody knows that video game. And this is set where a couple of you are playing as detectives going up against a bad guy called the Chisel in 1940s Hollywood. And anybody who's experienced, for example, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, this is a little bit more of a narrative board game where you'll be moving around the map, moving around LA and Hollywood, trying to solve a number of different cases. There are 8 of them that are included within the main game. I think there's actually may go up to 11 because of the stretch goals, which is pretty cool. And there's also going to be 3 available as part of an expansion too. And as I say, you'll be playing as detectives, so all have their own special skills, and you'll be going from location to location, trying to talk to different witnesses and things like that. But the thing that sets this apart from a lot of other games in this kind of style is that it's all going to be against one single entity who will be able to try and throw you off the case and sort of throw red herrings your way at the same time. So you might go to an area and you might start to interview a witness and you might ask certain questions, and then they will have a set of different responses that they can choose from to give to you back. And you'll have to try and work out whether or not they're lying or whether or not they're trying to hide some clues from you, or maybe they're just telling the truth at the same time and you're going down the wrong road. And this just looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like a great evolution of what we've already had before, with some new interesting twists mixed in as well. And the miniatures actually for the different detectives look very, very cool too.
So yeah, the big thing for me with this, actually, if I bring it back up here so you can see what I'm talking about, there we go, is this chisel responds mechanic. So this sort of multiple players playing against one person acting as the chisel, because they can actually choose, I believe it's going to be 1 of 4 responses each time, and you can actually see in this little GIF here, you'll see that they can choose to rotate it and only display the certain part of the card that they actually want to show off. And it's down to the other players then to essentially call their bluff, say whether the witness that the chisel is sort of using is telling the truth, or maybe trying to hide their own agenda, or maybe just outright lying completely. So it's actually going to give the person who's playing as the chisel a real chance to be all subterfuge, all kind of mystery, or just play it very open and honest and just wait for the investigators to run themselves over with thinking that everyone's lying and everyone's got a web of mystery. So it's that kind of evolving, changing case or investigation that sets it aside from anything we've seen before, where you're just playing against find X clue to solve X murder, if you know what I mean. This is going to give you a bit more. It depends how devious the person is you let be the chisel.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually quite an interesting thing that came up as they were discussing some more about the Kickstarter as well, is that obviously for the people that are playing the detectives, once they've solved the case, they've solved it. They can't really come back to it and try it again. But the person who plays the chisel, they can always come back to it and try and do things in a different way. So if you're the kind of person who runs maybe your local gaming store, or you run a gaming club or whatever, you could continually play as the chisel through the different cases and try your best to try and outwit everybody that comes to try and take on your game. And every time it comes back, maybe you try and do different decisions as well, which I thought was pretty cool. So yeah, there's some really interesting things going on here. There's also solo play variant as well, which is always handy with these kind of things as well.
What I worry about, right, is I've played a bit of Sherlock Holmes Consultant Detective. I think I played 3 of the cases. And there came a point where me and my friend Linz, we were playing it together, just the 2 of us. We were at the end of case 3, and we were thinking, we're done. We can't find anything else. We're at our wit's end. We don't know what the solution is. We've got what we think the answer might be, but we're just not feeling it. But all you're really kind of going on is what's in a book. And this game will allow you to look at the guy in the eye and say, or girl in the eye and say, hold on a second.
Where do you see what I see here? Where do you see there we go.
So, and that to me is a really interesting social element. Now, not everyone's going to enjoy being the chisel. Not everyone enjoys being a naughty little, so-and-so. But some people will embrace it. And if you've got someone in your group that will really love that, it's going to give you a really good night's entertainment.
I love this. This is a winter game to me. Okay,
light the fire, raining outside.
I'm thinking this is a game where you get a few friends around. It's cold outside. You get the fire on. You get your best American bourbon,
A trench coat.
And some great food of the period. I'm thinking corn on the cob, no less than 3 hours old, roasted in the oven with some salt. Anybody who's a Nero Wolf fan will know exactly where I'm coming from there. But this to me is, you know, the way you get them box games, and it's like a whodunit kind of party for you and your friends. Okay, they're crap. This is good though. This is a real get together. You know, I'm all about this of getting friends together, because someday. When my kids have all left home, I might be able to do this.
Now, would you tend to be the guy in the big chair and the leather with the fire behind you as everyone's there, and be the chisel, or would you be more the investigator?
I'd quite happily be the chisel.
Yeah?
I would chisel my chisel, and it would be no problem at all. I would, for everybody else to cooperate and enjoy the game. I would quite happily, because sometimes playing that is a bit of a sacrifice.
Sometimes,
You know, let's be honest. Being a GM of any kind is often a sacrifice. You know, because either A, you've got a lot of work to do beforehand, or B, you've maybe got less gameplay than everyone else, and you're sometimes trying to manage the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, the sounds of this one, it sounds like a little bit more maybe work, because you're going to have to interact with each investigator kind of one at a time. So while the investigators have downtime to think about the case, you're kind of maybe still interacting. So it's a little bit more mind work. But the cool thing is that you've got each witness, and you can kind of tailor how you think they're going to be, and you're choosing between 1 of 4 responses each kind of time. So you're not left having to prepare lots of stuff.
That and the fact you can maybe tune things a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, you know, nobody wants to bring friends over and them have a shit game.
No.
You know, so whereas you and Lynn's got, you know, you butted up against the Sherlock Holmes consulting
Seriously, those
detective.
cases, Sherlock can.
In this instance, you can start if you start to find your buddies and all, maybe hitting a bit of frustration. If it were me, I would kind of open the clue a little bit, you know, to try and keep things flowing, because I'm not interested in beating them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not even that big on you know, a win fairly by the letter of the law of the game. It's about the experience.
Enjoy
really,
the investigation.
Yeah.
Follow the trails, and yes, you may push them aside a little bit off on a wrong tangent, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah. I like this because of the fact that there's a human being can tune it.
Yeah.
And can make the thing, because, you know, we can talk about AI decks and stuff till we're blue in the face. They can only go so far. They have the potential, but they can only go so far. So yeah, I really like it. Right.
It's funny, funny you said. Sorry, my brain just, because we've seen apps as well that react in real time to what's happening on the board.
They can only go so far.
This again can only go so far, because you do have the envelopes. You only have so many choices. But I think being app free is actually. I shouldn't start this rant again.
Yes, yeah.
But being app free is a nice thing.
But you know, human beings have a lot. We can do a lot on the fly
if allowed to run free.
You know, on single tasks, machines are better, but lateral thinking is where it comes in. And I think as an experience, this is something you could base an experience off.
You scare me, because I've let too many members of my parties in D&D say, "Can I do this?" And I'm like, "Of course you can try it, absolutely." And then I've seen what they want to do, and I'm like, "Oh, I shouldn't have let their brain go." Like, you learn something about people when you give them a sword and it's nighttime and they're running through the town and no one can see them.
Yes.
You give people a lot of free rein. Anyway,
we've got 19 days left on Detective City of Angels, so definitely I think one to go and check out. One of those ones to have on your shelf, that whenever a free Friday night or something comes up, you can text out to your friends and say, "Hey,
if any of you's back it, bring it to the next boot camp you're at.
Yeah,
I'll play the chisel.
Food,
we'll do. Oh, look, Ben's. Have you backed it, Ben?
I'm basically going to back it as soon as this is over.
All right, there we go. Yeah, there we go. One more backer.
We're being far too nice this show. Everything we're talking about, we're being far too nice.
We have another one. Yep. Okay. Our last one for today is Smog Riders: Dimensions of Madness. Now, you have played this.
I have indeed, yeah.
Now, we struggled a little bit with the rule book, but it's under review at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the English rules are being tuned and rewritten.
They are indeed. So anyone who hasn't watched the Let's Play already, the Let's Play is up on the site now, so you can go and check out how myself, Justin, and John got on whenever we played the Smog Riders. And very, very enjoyable game. It really was. The chibi art on it's absolutely stunning. The boards are beautiful. It is a prototype copy, of course, because the Kickstarter is just getting underway. So just take it with a pinch of salt when you watch it, that it's not going to be exactly what you get at the final copy. But we had a great time, and that's what it's about, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So do you got the details, Ben? We'll run through them.
Yeah, so this is from Scale 75, and as it's all set in sort of like a weird steampunky world with some chibi characters in it, which look fantastic. The actual models for the Smog Riders have been around for quite a while now, but it's nice to see them being ingratiated into some kind of game at the same time, which is really cool. So yeah, this is for 2 to 4 players. You'll be playing as the different gangs. I think it's the Common Steam Alliance and the Abyssal Empire, and you're sort of doing a little bit of a dungeon crawling experience as you go through this sort of strange Stygian dimension, trying to pick up all sorts of things like machinery and inventions and claim them for yourselves and things. So yeah, it's looking really good. They've been doing okay on the Kickstarter. They've got some really cool, fantastic looking Kickstarter exclusives on the way as well. And the miniatures are the real sort of hit for me on this that I really, really enjoyed. So.
And there's a link to Justin and Sean, but not to Az. He wasn't there. He was
Az has turned into a big red button of doom.
Oh my word! Yeah, so you can follow the link below if you want to watch it, or you can go to the Kickstarter page and click that link as well if you like.
Yeah. So a dungeon crawling experience then, Az, yeah?
A dungeon crawling experience with a little bit of a variation, because this is another, actually, I've just realised, another sort of 1 versus mini game, because you do have one character play as the defender. And you have essentially a whole ream of minions and turrets and room defenses that you can kind of set up and work to your advantage, while the attackers then essentially have their own little groups of sort of 3 or 4 chibi minis, chibi characters that all have their own abilities and attacks and such, and they'll be separate at the start, but all coming in with the same goal, so they're all working towards. So in the game we played, for example, I had a Poseidon cannon that I was developing and trying to essentially get over 8 turns. I had to defend it for, while John and Justin were basically coming in from either side of my lair, trying to get the plans and steal them and jetpack out with them.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. It's kind of side-based, but there's a lot of variety to it, which is nice. And if you like steampunk, it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I was impressed.
Awesome. Right, that wraps us up. If you're interested in Smog Riders, 19 days left.
Yep.
Go and check it out. All that's left to be said is join us tomorrow morning.
Just realised we haven't talked about Justin at all.
No, we never mentioned.
We never mentioned he's not here.
He's still in America. He's still in America.
He's still in America.
He's still in America. He's due back. He's due back on Monday.
Yeah,
I think Monday or Tuesday. So
we'll have him back next week.
We'll have him back, and we'll hear all about his exploits. When he gets
See
back.
if he ate any fun things while he was over there.
So I didn't mention him because clearly I'm just not missing him yet.
Maybe miss him too much. To mention him would just break your heart.
Probably. Right. Join us tomorrow morning. We have the XLBS show. We've got some cool stuff. We've got a cool Rourke's Drift thing to show you in XLBS tomorrow. But in the meantime, a big thank you to Ben. Thank you to Az, and most importantly of all, as always, thank you to you guys. And we'll see you again very soon.